Eve Dallas gets possessed. Welcome to the D. Louise book series. I'm Christina, Kristina, and I would really appreciate it if you'd hit the like and subscribe button. I just read books and talk about books. I have no special editing effects. My audio is lacking, my visual is lacking, but I'm hoping you'll support the channel by hitting the like and subscribe. I'm a series person. I like to read series books. The longer the better. I like to get to know the characters. They become family, especially in this particular series. They are definitely family. You go on the fan base websites, Facebook and all that kind of stuff, and we talk about them like they're real people, like they really exist. And to us, they kind of do. After 60 books, they're real people. So Eve Dallas is a lieutenant in the New York City Police and Security Department, and we'll skip some of the other formal stuff. She's had a rough childhood. She grew up in the foster system. No socialization, no friends, no gifts, none of that. And some of that stuff is important in future books and in previous books, but not this particular one. Her partner is, her husband is Roarke. He's the richest guy in the world. And she sees herself as a lieutenant, New York City Police and Security Department's lieutenant. The world sees her either as Roarke's cop or the Cove cop. Please reference Indulgence and Fantasy, the two previous books, to learn about Nadine's book. She did a book on the Cove case. The cloning ladies killed the doctor's Cove and how great that case was. So today we are talking about book 31 and a half. Possession in Death. It can be found in The Other Side, J.D. Robb. It's Possession in Death. Eve Dallas gets possessed. What I like about this book is the fact that it catches up literally hours after Indulgence does, and she's having a big barbecue and the gang is all there. A lot of people don't read the in-betweens. Way back when, J.D. Robb used to put out 3, 5, 7 books a year. 3 books with Nora Roberts, always a trilogy. There's always a trilogy with the Nora Roberts series. And then 2 Eve Dallas hardcover books. And then 2 Eve Dallas short stories. So that's where the books would come from. The short stories were the in-between books. And they often continued immediately after the preceding book. And they also had a little more social time in, more catch up with the characters, a little extra. And I've always enjoyed them. She doesn't do them anymore, but I really do enjoy them. So she spent the morning with a murder. He'd been under guard in a hospital bed recovering from a near-fatal wound, courtesy of a misstep by his partner in crime, but she'd had no sympathy. She was glad he'd lived, wished him a long, long life in an off-planet concrete cage. She believed the case she and her team had built to be solid, as did the nearly gleeful prosecuting attorney. The sprinkles on the icing of this particular cake was the confession she finessed out of him as he sneered at her. Given that he tried to kill her less than 24 hours before, the sneer was small change. Then it goes on. Well, we'll just finish this page. Sylvester Moriarty would receive the best medical care New York could provide. Then he'd join his friend Winston Dudley behind bars until what promised to be a sensational media-soaked trial, given their family fortunes and names. Case closed, she told herself as she pushed her way through the heat-soaked Saturday afternoon traffic toward home. The dead, now the only justice she could offer, and their families and friends the comfort, if comfort it was that those responsible would pay. But it haunted her, the waste, the cruelty, the utter selfishness of two men who were so puffed up by their own importance, their station, that they considered murder a form of entertainment, a twisted sort of indulgence. Okay, then she gets to a house, and there's a barbecue going on. In previous books, Eve and Roarke attended a barbecue at Mira's house, and Roarke decided he wanted a barbecue also. And there's been fun incidents with Roarke learning how to use the barbecue in previous books. They're funny. So she comes into the room. By the time she changed trousers for cotton pants, boots for skids, and made it downstairs, she'd heard the voices in the foyer. She spotted her partner, Peabody, her short, dark ponytail, bouncing summery dress swirling. Peabody's cohab, E-detective, and premier geek McNabb stood beside her in a skin tank crisscrossed with more colors than an atomic rainbow, paired with baggy, hot pink knee shorts and gel flips. He turned the forest of green silver eyes on his left earlobe shimmering, and shot Eve a wide grin. "Hey, Dallas, we brought you something." "My granny's homemade wine." Peabody held up the bottle. "I know you've got a wine cellar the size of California, but we thought you'd get a charge. It's good stuff." I just love Peabody. So they have their little party, and it's a really good party. The fact that Eve is so uncomfortable in social situations gives it a little twisty turny on it. But then she gets a call that they're driving. They're out driving. And where is they find a woman who's been stabbed to death. I'm trying to find the okay, let's just go through it. Eve slammed the brakes and flicked on her flashers. Even as she leaped out of the car, she yanked her link from her pocket. "Emergency sequence, Dallas, Lieutenant Eve. I need MTs. I need a bus, 600 block of 120th Street, first aid kit in the trunk," she shouted at Lopez. "Code 2560, Baker Zulu, female victim." She continued, dropping down beside the woman. "Multiple stab wounds. Hold on." And dropping the link, she pressed the hands to the chest wound. "Help's coming. Beta." The woman's eyes flickered open to reveal eyes so dark Eve could barely gauge the pupils. "Trap. The red door. Help her. Help is coming. Give me your name," Eve said as Lopez pulled padding from the first aid kit. "What's your name?" "My name. She is Beta, my beauty. She can't get out." "Who did this to you?" "He is the devil." Those black eyes bored into Eve's. The words she pushed out held an accent thick as heat. Eastern European, Eve thought, feeling it in her mind. You are the warrior. Find Beta. Save Beta." "Okay, don't worry." Eve glanced at Lopez. He shook his head. He began to murmur in Latin as he crossed himself and began the sign on the woman's forehead. "The devil killed my body. I cannot fight. I cannot find. I cannot free her. You must. You are the one. We speak to the dead." Eve heard the sirens, knew they'd be too late. The pads, her own hands, the street was soaked with blood. "Okay, don't worry about her. I'll find her. Tell me your name." "I am Gizzy. I am the promise. You must let me in and keep your promise." Okay, don't worry. I'll take care of it." "Hurry," her mind shouted at the sirens. "For God's sakes, hurry." "My blood, your blood." The woman gripped the hand Eve pressed to her chest wound with a surprising strength, coring the flesh with her fingers. My heart, my soul, your soul, take me in." Hint. Eve ignored the quick pain from the little cuts in her palm. "Sure, all right. Here they come." She looked up as the ambulance screamed around the corner, then back into those fierce depths black eyes. She burned into her hand, up her arm, until the shocking blow to her chest stole her breath. The light flashed, blinding her, then went to utter dark. In the dark were voices and deeper shadows and the bright form of a young woman, slim in build, a waterfall of black hair and deep eyes of velvet brown. She is Beta. I am the warrior, and promise is in you. You are the warrior, and the warrior holds me. We are together until the promise is kept and the fight is done. Eve Dallas, Dallas. She jerked, sucked in her air like a diver surfing, and found herself staring at Lopez's face. What? Thank God, you're all right. Yeah. She raked a blood hand through her hair. What happened? I don't know. He glanced over to where a foot away 2 MTs worked on the woman. She's gone. There was a bright light. Such a light. I've never seen it. Then she was gone. And you were not unconscious, but blank. Just there, not there for a moment. I had to pull you away so they could get to her. You saw the light. I saw something, felt something, she thought. She heard something. Now she only saw an old woman whose blood stained the street. I have to call this in. I think you're going to be late for Mass. I need you to give a statement. So Eve gets possessed by this woman. And she has an interesting experience in front of Roarke and in front of a few other people. She headed for vending, digging in her pockets, her mind on food and caffeine. A woman sat on the floor beside the machines, her face in her hands, weeping. I'm scared, she repeated. Nobody sees me now. What's the problem? As Eve crouched down, the woman dropped her hands, her face livid with bruising, shone with shock and what might have been hope. You can see me? What's the problem? As Eve crouched down, the woman dropped her hands, her face livid with bruising, shone with shock and what might have been hope. You can see me? Of course I can see you. You need medical attention. Take it easy. I'm going to get someone. Then it's too late. Tears ran down the swollen face as the woman dipped her head again. Look what he did to me. Eve froze as she stared at the gaping wound on the back of the woman's head, at the dried blood matting the hair, soaking the blouse. Hold on, just... Eve reached out and her hand passed through the woman's arm. Jesus, God. It's Rennie, stifling pushed the heels of her hands through her tears. What are you? What is this? I don't know, but I have to tell somebody. It was Rennie, she repeated. The bastard, he was mad at me because I helped Sarah get away from him. He must have followed me from work. And when I was in the park, he was just there, and he yelled and he hit me. He kept hitting me, and I couldn't get away. Nobody came to help. Nobody saw, and he hit me, and he hit me, and I fell. He picked up a rock, and he killed me. It's not right. What am I going to do now? I'm scared to be here. I'm scared to be dead. Eve couldn't swallow, could barely breathe. This has to be stopped. Rennie killed me. The woman, the hallucination, held out her hand, tore them up, even though in some cold part of her brain, tore them up when she fell, when she tried to crawl away. He killed me, and now I won't even ever get married or eat ice cream or buy new shoes and have drinks with Sarah. Rennie Foster killed me with a rock in Riverside Park, and maybe he'll kill Sarah next. What's going to happen? I don't know. Aren't I supposed to go somewhere? I don't want you to stay here. It's cold here. It's too cold. It's too bright. Can you help me? I'm Jana Dorchester, and I didn't do anything wrong. Is this hell? No, but she wasn't entirely sure. Maybe hell was cold and bright. Maybe hell was losing your mind. Eve dropped down beside her, took her arms. Christ, you're burning up. Come on now. He started to lift her, but she resisted. No, wait. She sucked in a sudden breath, shuttered it out. You don't see her? He pressed a hand to her forehead. I see you, sitting on the floor of the morgue, looking like a ghost. At one, she murmured. I guess he can't see me because I'm dead and everything, Jana said. Why do you? I don't know. I need Mars. She told Roarke. And God, I need something to drink. Don't leave me, Jana begged, dropping her hand again to Eve. She could see the ugly wound that killed her. Please don't. Leave me here alone. I'm just going to sit here. Bring Morris, will you? I'm just need to sit here. Deal, she ordered herself. Deal with what's in front of you, then figure out the rest. Could really use something cold to drink. Roarke rose, cursing under his breath as he ordered a tube of Pepsi. He's gorgeous, Janice smiled as knuckled at tears. Mega frosted, is he your boyfriend? We're married. Seriously, icy for you, Janice said as Roarke glanced down. So we are, he said, and I'll take my wife to a doctor in short order. I'll get you Mars first, but then you're done here. He's got a really sexy voice too, Janice sighed as Eve took the tube Roarke opened drank. Thanks. I'm going to sit here, she said, as much to Jana as Roarke, while you get Morris. And while she sat wondering if she had a brain tumor or had dropped into some strange, vivid dream, she put on the cop and interviewed the dead. Minutes later, Morris hurried toward the tunnel with Roarke. Dallas, he knelt, laid a hand on her brow as Roarke had. You're feverish. Just tell me if you've got a body in female, mixed race, mid-20s, ID'd as Jana Dorchester, beating death in Riverside Park. Yes, she only just came in. How did you? Who caught the case? Steuben's primary. I need to contact him. Can you give me his contact data? Of course, but you don't look well. I'm feeling better, actually. Odd, she thought, how the cop approach steadied her, even when her interviewee was dead. I think I'll feel better yet once I talk to Steuben. I appreciate it, Morris. Give me a minute. Eve, Roarke took her hand as Morris stood away. What's going on here? I'm not sure, and I need you to give me a really open mind. I mean wide open. Yours is already more open than mine about, weird stuff. What sort of weird stuff is my mind going to be wide open about? Okay. She looked into his eyes, so blue, so beautiful, eyes she trusted with everything she had. There's a dead woman sitting right beside me. Her name's Jana Dorchester, and some asshole named Rennie Foster bashed her head in with a rock in Riverside Park. She's worried her friend Sarah might be next on the list, so I'm going to pass the information on to the primary. I can read Russian. I'm sorry? I can read Russian. I think I can speak it too, and I'm pretty sure I can make Hungarian goulash. Maybe borscht, possibly pierogies. The old woman, the one who fell in my lap and happened to be a gypsy speaker for the dead, did something to me, or I have a brain tumor. Staring into her eyes, Roarke cupped Eve's face into his hand. K. Vashideli? Yo mene yos po peshmo. Hey, you speak Russian? He sat back on his heels, rocked down to the bone. A handful of phrases, and certainly not as fluently as you. Apparently, and despite your answer, I doubt you're fine. They looked up as Morris came back. I have what you need. Great. Eve took out a link and, staying where she was, contacted Detective Steuben. Lieutenant Dallas, she said, homicide out of Central. I got some information on your Vic, Jana Dorchester. She looked at Jana as she spoke. You're going to want to find Rennie Foster and get some protection to Sarah Jasper. Let me lay it out for you. When she answered the question on how she came by the information by claiming a confidential informant. Unless Steuben's an idiot and he didn't strike me that way, that should do it. Eve got to her feet. It's all I can do. I'm still dead, but I'm not as scared. I'm not as cold anymore. I don't think you have to stay here. Maybe for a little while. It helped to talk to you. I still wish I wasn't dead. She trailed off. Good luck. So, to find out who killed Gizzy, the Romanian gypsy, and if Eve it gets there in time to save the girl that was important to Izzy and what's going on in her life, check it out. Possession and Death, book 31 and a half of J.D. Robb's Eve Dallas in Death series. And please like and subscribe. Let me know I'm doing a good job. All I'm doing is reading books, talking books, and I love my J.D. Robb. Thank you. Enjoy the binge.